Hi and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to give you a comprehensive overview of the dative case in German. Please note that I've also done a video like this on the accusative case, and I'm hoping to do one on the genitive case soon. To start off, let's quickly take a look at how the dative case affects articles in German. Here you'll see that all articles actually change in the dative case. The articles make the following changes. The masculine der becomes dem, the feminine die becomes der, the neutral das becomes dem, and the plural die becomes den and n on the ends of other words. For this reason, the dative case can be a little bit more difficult to learn than the accusative case, but it is quite easy to identify. For simplicity, I'm going to build my explanation of the dative case in the same way that I did the accusative case, and I'm going to start with verbs. In the video on accusative case, we talked about the subject, the verb, and the direct object, as seen here on screen. So we had phrased it like, who is doing what to whom? We had covered the sentences on screen here. I play the guitar, the man drives a car, the girl found the ball, the cat hates the dog. And then again in German, ich spiele die Gitarre, der Mann fährt ein Auto, das Mädchen fand den Ball, die Katze hasst den Hund. Now in this video we're also going to talk about the indirect object. In addition to what we covered in the accusative case, we're now getting these two red blocks added to the sentence. So who is being affected is now being added into our sentence, and that is the indirect object. So the accusative, I give the key, you buy a present, he tells a story, she writes a letter. So what we've added in is the who is being affected. My sister, me, his children, him. And these words become dative. So in German that would be ich gebe meiner Schwester den Schlüssel. Du kaufst mir ein Geschenk. Er erzählt seinen Kindern eine Geschichte. Sie schreibt ihm einen Brief. Notice in these sentences that you can leave away the indirect object and the sentence still makes sense. So for example, you buy a present. Du kaufst ein Geschenk. Still makes sense. That is a tip for how to know that something is the indirect object. Like I mentioned in the video on the accusative case, German sentence structure is often a lot more flexible than English sentence structure, and for that reason it's important to know how the cases work in order to fully understand the meaning of a sentence. If we take one of the sentences that we had previously, ich gebe meiner Schwester den Schlüssel, I give my sister the key, and we change it to be I know that I gave my sister the key. Not much changes in the sentence in English, right? But in the German sentence, we would jumble the word order around quite a bit, and in this case the sentence would become ich weiß, dass ich meiner Schwester den Schlüssel gegeben habe. In this case, my sister is dative, and the key is accusative. The key is the direct object as I am performing an action, giving, on the key, and my sister is the indirect object as she is the receiver of the action from me. That is, she is receiving the key. Other than verbs that create the dative case through the indirect object, there are also verbs that take the dative case. The list of verbs that produce the dative case is quite small, and as I mentioned in the previous video, these can be learned off by heart. Here are some of the most common verbs which create the dative case. Following this will be some examples, so please pause the video here if you would like to check out these verbs. Here are some common examples of verbs which produce the dative case. First up, I thank you. Ich danke dir. Can you help me? Können Sie mir helfen? He didn't answer you. Hat dir nicht geantwortet. She doesn't believe him. Sie glaubt ihm nicht. Then, what happened to you? Was ist dir passiert? The car belongs to her. Das Auto gehört ihr. I like your new phone. Dein neues Handy gefällt mir. That tastes good to me. Das schmeckt mir. The dative case is not only formed by verbs though, there are also dative prepositions. On the left I've listed some common verbs which we just looked at. And on the right I've listed the prepositions which create the dative case. Aus, bei, mit, nach, gegenüber, seit, von. And also accusative dative prepositions. This is not a complete list, as I will be diving into the dative, accusative and genitive prepositions in upcoming videos, but for now let's just look at some examples of dative prepositions. So first, in English, we go to the restaurant. In German, wir fahren zum Restaurant. In this example, das Restaurant becomes dem Restaurant, and then zu, the preposition, fuses with dem to create zum Restaurant. Should we eat at my place? In German, sollen wir bei mir essen? Here we have bei, that's a dative preposition. So to correctly say at my place, you would say bei mir. And then the sentence, sollen wir bei mir essen? And then finally, he dances with his wife. In German, tanzt mit seiner Frau. In this third example, mit creates the dative case. Die Frau becomes der Frau. Or in this example, his wife, seine Frau, becomes mit seiner Frau. So that is it for this video. I hope I was able to clarify the dative case for you. If you enjoyed it, please like, share and subscribe for upcoming videos. Bis zum nächsten Mal.